This is a 20,000 ruble class 1 helmet with a 100,000 ruble Mandalorian looking face shield on it and 200,000 ruble night vision goggles attached. Is it absolutely ridiculous? Yes, but I think there's a case to be made that this helmet could provide some sort of value in the game, especially this late in wipe, and it's linked to how modular it is like it is here. And that could potentially turn it from something that's more of a meme to something potentially usable in the game. I'm JesseKazam, and welcome back to another Escape From Tarkov video. If you didn't know, I do stream Escape From Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say, hey, if you liked the video, think about hitting the like button or subscribing to the channel for more content like this. But with all that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So by now, I'm sure you're aware we're talking about the TK, the TAC Fast MT non-ballistic replica. So they added this to the game not too long ago. We started freaking out that we saw scavs with fast MTs, and then we quickly realized that they were fake fast MTs that weren't meant to really stop bullets. It's class 1 armor, 40 durability points. It isn't going to stop much of anything other than maybe some shotgun pellets, some TAS pellets, or something like that. Now, a lot of my content, though, is oftentimes centered around just looking at the game through a different lens, and I'm very aware that this is not going to stop many bullets, and it's not going to be something if you're like really trying to gear up and get protected. I'm very aware of that, but it's more about looking at the game through a different lens and looking at Tarkov through the lens of just because something is better doesn't mean it's better, if that makes sense. So we talk about this all the time with ammo like 995. You know, 995 is the best 5.56 variant of ammo. But if it's really only better when you come up against somebody with class 6 armor, you have to ask yourself, how often do you come up against somebody with class 6 armor? Because if it's only 1 out of 100 raids, then, and you're buying 995 every raid, you would have spent more money than you would have lost by dying that one raid you ran into somebody. So Tarkov doesn't work in a linear scale where just because it's better means it's better all the time. 995 is no better against a naked hatchling than 855A1 or 56A1. Really, those damage values might be a little different, but why you choose 995 is for the armor penetration. But against a hatchling, it's not better. So better in Tarkov always means better in certain circumstances. And then secondly, we're approaching this from a budget helmet perspective on something that's cheap that affords some sort of utility to you, the player. So starting with the SSH is like widely regarded one of the best budget helmets in the game, and I would still agree with that. It's class 3. It's got a high ricochet chance. You can buy it at level 1 Ragman, which means you can buy it right out of the gate. And this is still something I'm going to use all the time when running budget kits or when a wipe starts. But it's that ricochet chance that we're talking about here that is the redeeming quality of the TAC kick here, which it's both high. So the way ricochet works is that the ricochet chance has a chance to ricochet any bullet. So if a bullet with 78 pen hits either of these helmets, it has a chance to ricochet. If it doesn't ricochet, it will penetrate both of these helmets because they're not class 8 armor. They will penetrate them both the same, but they both have a high % chance to ricochet. And high doesn't mean like I don't know any actual numbers around high, like 70%, 80%. It seems low. It's not like a huge %, but they will ricochet shots a lot more often than helmets with low or medium ricochet chances. And to be honest with you, and this is kind of what the whole video is about, is that it feels like recently when I'm playing Tarkov, my helmets are more often than not ricocheting, and that's how they're saving me as opposed to just absorbing around. Because this is the bread and butter of the video. If you, this is really just an experiment, ask yourself, how often are you running into players, if you go for PvP especially, with higher tier ammunition? This late in a wipe, how often are you running into people with high tier ammo or even mid tier ammo? Because you look at something like an exfil helmet, which is definitely considered pretty meta. It's a class 4 helmet. It's a class 3 face shield and a class 3 ears. And this is a great helmet. This is a very expensive helmet as well. But you kind of have to ask yourself, how often are you running into people that are shooting bullets with higher than 40 pen. I mean, we look at things like the third best 5.56 ammo is a 5.6A1, which is 37 pen, which means it's going to pen the face shield immediately, and the helmet at only 1 or 2 shots. You know, 7.62 PS, which you can get day 1 and throw in an SKS, that's got 32 pen, which means it's going to pen this budget helmet, and it's going to pen the face shield most likely. You know, BT, which is the third best 5.45 ammo, and I'm using Battle Buddy to find these figures, has 37 pen. So, and these are, I'm looking at like third best ammos in each category just to like overly prove the point. So in my experience, if I'm going for PvP, which a lot of us are this late in the wipe, or even if you're just trying to quest, if you're going to come across PvP trying to get those quests done, you're most likely going to come across people with 40 or above pen ammo, which basically renders these helmets not useless, but this late in a wipe, most of the time, it's not going to do you that much good other than maybe scav protection. And, you know, this helmet's hundreds of thousands of rubles when you factor in the USD for the face shield, the ear covering, and the helmet. It's up to you to decide if that is worth it. So if our helmets aren't really providing us a whole lot of utility against other players this late in a wipe, well, then if you're going for budget loadouts or something like that, that's where I think the TAC can potentially add some value, because like we see here, you can throw nods on it. You can throw cheap NVGs. Obviously, I would never actually run this unless it was a meme, but you could throw, you know, cheaper NVGs on it if you're trying to get some nighttime quests done, or if you just like night raids, you can throw a face shield on it. Yeah, this is still kind of a little ridiculous, but it's just a cheap way to get a face shield if you keep dying to scavs right in the face, because the face shield is class 3, so it's going to take some buckshot and stuff like that as well. It's got the high ricochet chance. You can put like the slap on it or something if you want it as well. I run these a lot as well. And once again, it's a class 3. People are always like, why are you running just class 3 helmet? Well, and the answer is because I feel like it's not saving me any more or less than any other helmet, but it's much cheaper helmet, and I can put a face shield on it if I'm running factory and not get, you know, a TT to the face by a scav. And the value of these is pretty cheap. It's anywhere between 13 and 20,000 rubles. It's going to fluctuate. Obviously, maybe once I post a video, if some people want to try it out, they're going to get more expensive. There is no barter for this. You can't buy it. It's just all found in raid. It's off scavs, but they are cheap, and they should be cheap. This isn't something that's worth spending 50, 60,000 rubles on at all. And then that being said, they are a little bit cheaper than the SSHs, which you can buy from Ragman for a little over 20,000. But you can also buy them, you know, found in raid as well. So it's really just about, at the end of the day, asking yourself, you know, how often you run into PvP. Are you a player that seeks out PvP? Are you questing in high PvP areas? Are you trying to build a budget loadout that maximizes budget and utility? And asking yourself how often you die to these rounds that are going to pen anything anyway. Going back to the 995 analogy, a similar thing. If you've got an exfil on, a, you know, several 100,000 ruble helmet, and somebody's shooting at you with M62 or M61, you effectively don't have a helmet on. The only thing that's really going to save you, even with this helmet, is that high ricochet chance. And this thing is 20,000 rubles, and it gives you that and the ability to put on some NVGs or a face shield if you want. You can also put, I believe, the Fast MT like mandible on this as well, which is class 2 armor around your like jaw. So it's just asking yourself those questions. I know a lot of people play Tarkov without helmets at all, ever, because they don't feel like it's a worthy investment. Yes, of course, helmets save you sometime. I wear a helmet every single raid, and I don't really feel comfortable going in without it, but it's all about expectation. And I actually talked about this in my armor video, where I don't expect the helmet to save my life. I want it to be there as a just in case. I am a huge proponent, if you see any of my videos, always that positioning, map knowledge, and aim are going to get you way, way farther in Tarkov than gear. way farther in Tarkov than gear. But having gear as a backup if you miss a shot, or if somebody sneaks up on you, or if something unexpected happens, it can be there to help. So if you're somebody that never wears helmets, consider just throwing these on just for that ricochet chance. You're paying, you know, 15,000 rubles for a high ricochet chance. And if you are somebody that's going for budget helmets all the time, and you want something that's either a little bit cheaper or something that's has a little bit more utility, you know, maybe check it out just as a meme, just as something that's constantly teaching us that it's not always about the best, because if we're only running the best, it'll be a net negative most likely. Now, there's definitely something to be said about the difference between class 1 and class 3 protection against scavs, and that is oftentimes what people say why we're running some sort of helmet, some sort of face shield, some sort of armor is scav protection, because sometimes the AI seems like they're just on God mode and they can hit you with a TOS from 200 meters. And the difference between class 1 and class 3 is definitely significant there. This is going to be able to absorb a lot more of the scav rounds than you thought. And then you can even look into something like this then if you want that, because this is class 3, only medium ricochet chance though. But yeah, that's it. High ricochet chance. It's basically just purchasing high ricochet chance on your head for 15,000 rubles. And it was just something that fell right in line with everything we always talk about, which is thinking critically about the game and not just spending a bunch of money on the best because it's the best, but picking your loadout based on what you want to do. So hopefully, like we said, whether if you run helmets or not, or if you like to run budget kits, maybe you'll try it out and maybe you'll learn a little bit and not die as much as you'd think you did while you're playing your raids in Escape from Tarkov. Thank you as always for taking the time to check out the video. Like we said before, if you liked the video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel. That stuff really helps me out. We've got the Twitch link below, the Discord if you're looking for people to play with, Juju's the channel sponsor, and we also have our own merch finally. All that stuff you can find below. But thank you again for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.